We're going to have so much fun. You know, we're going to have fun because the comtards, and that's really what they are, the comtards, the commitards. Well, they're at it again. Hey, you voted for these clowns in Virginia. Ask me if I give a rat's tail. I live in Washington, D.C., baby. I don't really care what happens to you anymore. You voted for these people. Hey, you got 300% increases in your electric bill. Hello. Well, that's because the Democrats, well, they they put all kinds of taxes on it. Your income tax in Virginia is going to go to 13 from 5.5% to 13.5%. They're taxing everything. They're taxing pet cleaning, DoorDash, Lyft, Uber. It doesn't matter. If it moves, they're taxing it. You see the taxes they dumped on Virginia? It is laughable. You're going to end up with an effective 13.5% income tax. All I can do is laugh because I think it's hilarious, right? Then you got Mandami saying, well, I've been here 3 weeks. My city's broke. It's worse than the Great Depression. We have no money. And people are riding buses for free. And of course, nobody can ride a bus because the homeless are on the buses. See, I figured this out as soon as he said it, I figured it out in 20 seconds. I'm like, okay, so what'll happen is with no fares on buses, the homeless in the cold will simply ride the buses all day and take all the seats up. And of course, there many times is an odor that goes with them because they're homeless. Not their fault. It's just when, bathe for a year, things don't smell very good. So you couldn't get on the bus anyway because of stench. So the homeless are now riding the buses around the city all day to stay out of the cold. So nobody can actually ride the buses. I told you this in 30 seconds what was going to happen. But no, we got free buses faster than ever. Now they're broke. We got clips on him. He's going to raise taxes on everything. Raise taxes on the rich. Raise taxes on companies. Everybody's raising taxes. Meantime, freak out in Fulton County, Georgia. What is going on here? What do we have here, Tyler? Well, I said this since 2020, right? I mean, the reason that Ann and I bought the station in Atlanta, AM 1690, for those that are on it right now, thank you. It's a really good station. We thought about selling it and they were like, nah, we like it. So we're not doing it. But it's kind of a legacy station, WMLB, right at the end of the dial. It's a blowtorch, though, 10,000 watts. And we got all new equipment in there, new transmitter, new processor. Comes in pretty clear. Got a lot of listeners there. But so what's going on in Fulton County? So this looks like Tulsi Gabbard spending a little time in Atlanta. Maybe sipping a little hot tea there, right? And she's there to check these ballots out. And remember, we bought the station because we were convinced that there were at least 30,000 ballots. And I'm not talking about chain of custody or somebody didn't sign a paper. No, I'm talking about 30,000 absentee ballots run through a copy machine that Susie Voiles and others in an affidavit said were on pristine paper, weren't folded, and had the same squiggly mark. So they got run through a copy machine, pulled out of the cabinet in the middle of the night when they locked everybody out and ran through the scanner. And we've been trying to get access to these ballots for 6 years. We haven't been able to do it. Finally, we just went and seized them. We seized them. Seize means you took it. You took it. Hey, you guys are going to have fun today. Fasten your seatbelts, lace them up, and lace them tight because we have this whole thing figured out just for you. I'm here for truth and clarity, boldness and courage. Plus, I love to take your calls. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Plus, if you haven't noticed, it's Friday. So TGIF. To you all out there, I love Fridays because Saturday, Tyler, I get to sleep in until 8 o'clock. And then I go do Godzilla Wins, which is not exactly work. It's fun, especially when Mitch Rogers is hosting it. And I don't have to do jack. So get up, get a cup of coffee. Oh, I just made my coffee. Oh, man, Tyler, it's all the way over there. Damn. I'll have to play a clip so I can go get my first cup of 1775 coffee. But in the meantime, so what's going on in Atlanta, right? So they're seizing these ballots, and everybody's going bat crap crazy, including Mark Warner. What's he carries in Virginia? Well, see, these ballots are fake. These are called fake ballots. And so when you have fake ballots, well, and you get them and you prove it out, now they're all going to start lawyering up. We're all going to get the criminal lawyers and all of that good stuff. The lawyers are coming. Yep, they're coming. And we've got people. We got people in Fulton County, which is very upset about what is going on because they're going to get these ballots and they're going to run them through a forensic audit, and they're going to find that the ballots are fake. And then all hell's going to break loose because somebody ran them through a copy machine and somebody ran them through the scanner. And the last time I checked, that's illegal. So Mark Warner, Senator Warner, senior senator from Virginia, is very upset. He's very upset that they sent Tulsi Gabbard. Why is Tulsi Gabbard going to Atlanta? She's supposed to be foreign intel. Why is she in Atlanta? She should be monitoring foreign adversaries, who do we not like? Canada. She should be monitoring Mexico or something like that. She shouldn't be in Fulton County. Well, she's in Fulton County because Trump wanted somebody there that knows what she's doing. So we're going to see. We're going to see how this all goes. We got plenty of clips coming up. We got Mandami, Homan yesterday. He did fine. It was great. We'll see what happens. It didn't look to me like the surrender that we were afraid of. They trying to get things worked out, ratchet down a little bit. So I was very happy about that. And but remember, when those of us in the MAGA media that are legitimate, not talking about the Tucker Carlson clickbaiters, but when we raise a bet, when we ring a bell, people listen. And so Homer did a great job. I thought his press conference was a 10. I thought he was stellar. And we'll see what happens. When I get back, you got a lot of problems here. And the main problem is, well, you know what? I want you to stay here and go to a clip. The main problem is somehow getting rid of illegals has now morphed into only criminal illegals. It's not what we ran on. It's not what we campaigned on. That's why the Democrats are going bananas. This is their vote base. They need them. I've told you this over and over and over, right? Meantime, Kristi Noem under fire. First of all, that guy is a domestic terrorist. We got plenty of clips on that. Why don't we start with Kristi Noem on Sean Hannity last night? He wanted to know were there any lessons learned. See, I love these questions by Hannity. This is so ridiculous. Oh, did you learn any lessons? Would you like a cold soft drink or hot cup of coffee? Is your chair comfortable? How about, hey, Kristi, you called this guy a domestic terrorist. Now looking at all the videos, it looks like you were right. Why were you so ahead of the curve? See, that's the question I would have asked. That's why I'm not on Fox News, right? Would you like a cold soft drink or hot cup of coffee? Would you like a pillow? Is your chair comfy? How's the temperature? Can it go up or down a degree? Cut one, Sean Hannity, roll it, Conservative Inc. Here we go.
As untenable as this is, and all these politicians pouring gasoline on what is already a difficult situation, and that's enforcement of the law, arresting the worst of the worst, and I'll get to that in a minute. The president's called for a full investigation. Stephen Miller seemed to concede that maybe some protocols weren't followed. Again, everything's hindsight 2020, and these things go down very quickly. Any lessons to be learned? Handle things differently going forward?
Well, Sean, that's part of the reason why we have several layers of an investigation here. We believe that we can always do better, and we seek to do that every single day. And we want to make sure that we not only improve protocols on the ground in chaotic and volatile situations like this, but that we continue to find the truth around this situation and get the facts to the American people, and make sure that we continue to do our work every day with integrity, but that we continue to be able to get criminals and dangerous people off the streets like these officers have been doing for months, ever since President Trump came back into office. They take an oath to go out and protect these communities and to keep them safe, and that's one of the jobs that they take very seriously, especially in Minneapolis, as we've seen this kind of violent riots go forward and attack them.
I think in the Renee Good case, it was more clear cut because we had the video.
Okay. I'm going to come to her defense right here. She actually, see, anybody in the administration that actually wants to remove illegal aliens, I support them. Miller, 10. Noem, 10. Corey Lewandowski, 10. All get A+. Are they perfect? No. I don't care if they're perfect. You got to make a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Let's see. What time is it? 6:35 a.m. Eastern? I'm sure I've made a mistake since I got up at 4:15. Although I did get a nice text today from Marcy McCarthy. Marcy, I love when you text me in the morning. It's so cool. And she always gives me her little tidbits of wisdom. Of course, she can't go on the radio anymore because she's now a government employee, monitored by the Trump administration, has to follow all the rules and protocols. But she texts me and gives me tidbits of her insights. So thank you for that, Mars. And you did make me laugh, by the way. So I don't know what I was saying here, but she's doing a great job because they actually want to get illegals out of the country. See? They want to get them out of the country. They don't want to play footsie. They don't want to say only, criminals. They want to backtrack. They actually want to get them out of the country. And that's what they're doing every day to get them out of the country. Now, it looks like we averted a shutdown, but let's get to Noem here. Let's get to Kristi Noem here, part 2. Let's go to that and see what she has to say there. Cut to.
It's a little bit different. Although I don't know why he was there with a loaded gun, and this other incident raises questions I'll ask you about in a minute here. But people seem to be upset over the term domestic terrorism. Why do you believe that's appropriate? Because you used it in both cases.
Well, Sean, we're continuing to gather information, and the FBI leading this investigation is important to make sure that we talk about both these situations appropriately. In the Renee Good situation, we have more information as it happened previously, and we'll continue to get to the truth of all of this. But we can't distract from the fact of how we got here, and we got here because we had a Biden administration that allowed an invasion over our southern border and allowed millions of people to come into our country unvetted. And we know for a fact that we had dangerous criminals and drug traffickers, murderers, terrorists, people on the suspected and known terrorist watch list that are in this country that these officers are working so hard to get off of our streets. Every single day, they work to make sure that they're not just protecting their communities, but many of them live in these communities. And so they're doing work to protect their own families as well and make sure they follow through on President Trump's promise to make America safe again.
Well, I'm going to scroll all the violent criminals that were arrested in Minnesota. Let me ask you, though, Secretary Kristi Noem. Madam Secretary, thanks for being with us. I want to talk about how untenable the whole situation is and why. I'm going to get to that. There seems to be two criticisms that have emerged, and I want to give you a chance to address them. One was an ex-post 2.5 hours after the Preddy shooting, that an individual approached the officer with a 9mm semi-automatic. Officers feared for their safety. And that's why the shooting occurred. It seems, as you look at videos, that the weapon may have been stripped, though, before that happened. And I guess my question is, was that statement premature?
Well, Sean, I know you realize that situation was very chaotic and that we were being relayed information from on the ground from CBP agents and officers that were there. We were using the best information we had at the time, seeking to be transparent with the American people and get them what we knew to be true on the ground. So we will continue to follow the investigation that the FBI is leading and giving them all the information that they need to bring that to a conclusion and make sure that the American people know the truth of the situation and how we can go forward and continue to protect the American people.
I mean, you can't get enough of this, folks. Really. The whole thing about domestic terrorism, this is my favorite part of the week, right? And we'll get to the shutdown in a minute. This is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite part of the week. Is it domestic terrorism? And I love the way she pivoted on that on the previous segment. Well, the Joe Biden let in 30 million people, 20 million people. Okay. Short answer, yes. Miller was right. This is domestic terrorism. This is a color revolution, a low-level insurrection designed to topple the United States government through paid, organized, funded, professional protesters. So yes, when you look at the video that's now come out with this guy who they try to lionize as some kind of a martyr. Look what this guy did 11 days ago. This guy was in their database. This guy confronted and attacked ICE agents. This guy comes to a hotbed with a gun. That's why I got shot. Plain and simple. Sorry, dude. Dumb things happen to dumb people that do dumb things. I don't know what else to tell you. I have no sympathy here. None. Zero. This guy knew 11 days ago he was on their list. Why are you going back there with a gun? This guy is not some... Remember the way the fake news media came out and, he was an ICU nurse at the VA hospital. What a wonderful guy this guy was. And he was so sweet. And he was, helping this old lady. No, you're there with a gun that was loaded. You were already on their list. You already confronted them. You already scuffled with them. You're blowing whistles. You're a paid protester. You decided to do that as a profession. Things didn't work out for you, dude. Sorry. You are a domestic terrorist. No doubt about it. At least we got the balls to say it. They're all domestic terrorists when they're confronting ICE. You want to protest, you stay you stay out of their way. You can protest and blow whistles to your heart's content. And we don't really care what you do. But as soon as you engage, all bets are off. It's kind of the way this country's set up with law and order. So nobody really cares, dude. But look, I'm happy. I'm happy that she went on TV and she defended herself. And I know a lot of you out there, you think, it's like Ice Barbie and this and that. A lot of people don't like her. Now, I get that, right? But she wants to remove illegals from the United States. Therefore, I'm for her. She's not perfect. Corey's not perfect. Miller's not perfect. ICE is not perfect. You and I are not perfect. I get all that. Mistakes are going to be made.